Learning can take place anywhere. We could go to a book or go to university. We could spend time on our own talking to some friends and colleagues. We can enroll in a program of study. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and guests, some of my best learning has taken place on my bicycle. Yes, I would consider myself a contemplative cyclist, but the lessons I've learned on my bicycle are lessons that we can apply to life. Tips for success. Steps for success, if you will. The first one I'd like to offer, pace yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking. Diane, pace yourself? Come on. This is an old one. This is nothing new. I've heard this before. Pace yourself. But it's one thing to have the knowledge of pacing yourself, and it's another thing to know internally at a real gut level that I need to pace myself. As a cyclist, oftentimes when I'm cycling, I get so excited, the wind, the conditions, and everything, that sometimes I charge on ahead. Not so long ago, in March, I was trying to keep up with what I call the fast cats. They were cruising at a very fast speed, 19, 20 miles an hour. And I tried to keep up with them. Only problem was we got to midway, and when they contemplated perhaps 40 more miles, I knew I would have to go home by myself to Lexington because I couldn't keep up. I spent it all on that first 20 miles and I had nothing left. That day I didn't integrate, I didn't take in at a very gut level that suggestion to pace yourself. But today I am. Today is a new day. But pacing yourself is a life lesson. Do you ever get so absorbed in a project, you're so excited about something, and you can just feel your energy? It's like you're going to the edge, and you just get there, and you feel like you're going to take a nosedive. And because you don't stop to contemplate, you just keep going. And then within a few minutes, you stall out. The language in cycling terms, you bonk, because you just don't have it. You know what I'm talking about. Well, how about in those moments when you can just feel the energy, you know, you're excited, you're enthused, but you just know if you don't pace yourself, you will lose momentum, you'll crash and burn, that you stop, you get up, you take a walk around, maybe you do a little meditation, maybe a little yoga, you get away from the project, and then you go back at it. You know, I never used to take breaks before. I would just give it all, give it all. The only problem is if you give it all the time, you're going to crash and burn. So pace yourself, and cycling or life is a key to success. You need to pace yourself. And if you pace yourself, you'll accomplish a lot more than your colleagues, than the person sitting next to you. Number 2, ride the terrain and take advantage of the conditions. Sometimes we have a tailwind at our back and we're going downhill. We might be tempted to coast. Wow, life is easy. Things are grand. I can take it easy right now. I think sometimes that's a mistake. Because when the terrain and the conditions are such that pedaling is so easy and things are coming so natural, that's when you can actually step it up. Why? Because it's effortless. It's absolutely effortless. The wind at your back, the downhill descent, it's a piece of cake. So think about it. Next time you have a project and you've got a lot of time in your calendar, instead of sitting back and saying, wow, I can relax now. Look at all the time I have. No. All that time and space means maybe you can step it up now because there isn't the pressure. You're not under the gun. And you can take a leisurely step. And before you know it, you're accomplishing more. Instead of just relaxing in those easy moments and then being behind the gun later on. The third suggestion I would make of my steps to success is learning to let go. Sometimes when I've been cycling, a fellow cyclist will come upon me. This happened just this weekend. Don came upon me and passed me by. I was so shocked and disturbed. There he goes. But almost immediately, because I've internalized this lesson, I let Don go. In the past, when someone would pass me, especially in cycling, I'd be so fixed and fixated on that person, I would lose my own goals, I would lose my own sense, I would lose my direction, caught up in someone else's journey. Self-sabotage, if you will. But now I've decided, when someone passes me, wish them well, and keep on keeping on. People on our journey will pass us by. There's some people that will go on and make more money. There will some people that go on and command more success. There's some people who go on and become great authors. It might not be us, but that doesn't mean we don't stay attentive to our goals and our plans and the things that we have deep in our hearts, because our plans and our goals are just as important. And the reason or the way we trip ourselves up is when we compare ourselves to the next guy. So I don't know about you, perhaps you're not a cyclist, and pacing yourself and being on your bicycle is not something that you think about. But there are things that you enjoy doing, I'm sure. I'm sure some of you take walks now and then. Some of you golfers. Some of you might like to read or bird watch. Do you ever stop to think about those moments, those everyday moments, things that sometimes we take for granted could speak to us profound truths? So, although I have my 3 steps to success, and they come from my experience, and I do emphasize to you that you should take this advice to pace yourself, to ride the terrain, and go with the conditions, especially if they're favorable, and to let go. Perhaps you, in your own contemplation, whether on the golf course, whether bird watching, whether knitting, that you too will come up to some profound insights, and the success that you will accomplish in your lifetime will be measured not just by my wisdom and insights, but your own. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, again.